Hello, Paras. Thank you for joining us today. We're joined with JC Palmer from ESU8. She is our tech integrationist, and she's here for some great tips on Canva today. Thanks, JC.
Hello, everyone, and thanks, Steph, for having me. It's good to see everybody, and I'm excited to share about Canva. Um, we wanted to remind you of the difference that you're making as we get started. I know that Steph is always great about emphasizing the huge role that paras play, but just know that we really appreciate all the work that you do with the students. Um, Today we are going to cover Canva, do an overview. This is a great tech tool, and then we'll get into some positive affirmations. So looking at ways that we can reinforce a great mindset with ourselves and with the students that we work with. If we haven't met, like Steph said, I'm the instructional tech specialist, so I'm happy to answer questions via email. If there's any unfinished learning after today's presentation, feel free to email me. And then if I'm out in your schools and you'd like to follow up or have more of a conversation about any of the tech tools we talk about, you're welcome to seek me out. Anytime we are using tech, we want to consider how we can use it to be effective in our roles. So there's some good research about too much screen time or some of the detrimental sides of tech. So we definitely want to balance that with when we do pull in technology, how are we using it to be more effective in our jobs and in our roles? So with that in mind, Canva is a website or an app. So to get started, make sure you have your device with you, or you can also get it on a mobile device, or iPads, whatever type you're on. Go ahead and go to canva.com, or it is an app that is free to download as well. So sometimes when we talk about Canva, people are curious, well, why Canva? It is one of the top trending LinkedIn job skills. There's a lot of businesses and organizations that are seeking folks that know how to use Canva. Um, there's large organizations like Zoom and NFL that use Canva because of their color marketing branding capabilities. But they give it to educators for no cost. So that is a big piece to note, that we can get it for totally free. So if you are currently paying for the premium bells and whistles, know that you can access those through an education account. I think this will show you up at the top of Canva. If you go to education and under teachers, you can click get verified. So it says teachers, but any educators, paras, any of us in education can get the full Canva for Education account at no cost. Know that sometimes your school may have rolled out Canva school-wide, so you just log in with your school account and you'll get all those that access. If your school hasn't done that at this time, you can individually request that up there as well.
And JC, I'll say I used to get frustrated on Canva before I had a teacher account because they would say, "Oh, if you want this image, you have to pay, this much for it." But with the education account, you don't have to pay for anything and you have all access. So make sure that you're logged in with that school account to really have the full use. And you can even do then personal things under that school account still.
Yeah, it's a great perk that we in education. So yeah, that's great. As a reminder, these are some of the ways that people are using Canva. There are lots of ways to get organized. So I know sometimes we might be finding ourselves trying to label all the things in the classroom or to help students get organized. There are lots of different templates and resources available to help us pull from Canva to get our spaces organized. Sometimes if we are trying to communicate with families or making certificates or creating some type of newsletter that would go back and forth from school to home, those are available on Canva. There's also any of the social media. So sometimes schools are creating announcements that go out on Facebook, for example. They could create those on Canva. And then students enjoy using it as well to demonstrate their learning, whether it is a presentation like this, or they might be making an infographic or designing something that would showcase the learning that they have just acquired through a project or unit.
And another cool feature of your school having an account is then you can share documents together. So JC and I can share them because we both have ESU 8 email accounts and Canva accounts. And so all those things could be shared amongst staff members or between a para and a student who are working on something together.
Yes, that's a good point. That similar to Google, for example, where since it's an online platform, yeah, you can share and collaborate in real time together on the resource. Yeah, that's great. Sometimes we're teaching those life skills to students as well. So if we're wanting to help them with a planner page, for example, or getting maybe they need to update a resume. There's templates for that on Canva. There's some neat vision boards and ideas as well. I'll show you an example here in a minute. And then sometimes we're just trying to help them celebrate or invite them. Maybe teachers are hosting an event and we could assist them by creating an invitation for the event that they're hosting at the school and invite families into. There's lots of ways um, to celebrate or invite. So this is another look, I guess, at all the ways folks are using Canva. Sometimes posters or social media is a top contender, but there's a ton of other ways as well. And video and picture and some of the artificial intelligence features that are baked into Canva now make creating these things even more slick. So these are some examples of creating a poster or a vision board on Canva where you can take things that they're interested in and compile that. There's posters the printables that you might put in a room that you can customize yourself. Those are there. And this is, again, a resume template. And to the point of invitations is maybe more some personal examples, but if you're inviting students to an event or families, you can also do a recap video at the end of a unit or after the semester is over to bring in pictures and learnings that has occurred in the classroom. That can all be made through Canva.
In fact, JC, we did a slideshow for the ESU at the end of last year with all of our pictures throughout the year. And Canva had a great template for me to use that was already that already used music and things like that. So it was so easy for me to just drop photos into that slideshow template.
Oh, very cool. Yes, I remember you made that. That is great that it was easy to make that way. At this time, we would invite you, if you're in a room full of others working with you, or even if you're working independently through this video, pause and jot down what Canva ideas are standing out to you. What are the ways that you could see yourself using Canva, or within your school, what stands out about Canva? Have that conversation, take a minute or two, and then come back. I guess I had a slide for that. So we're turning and talking about which Canva ideas stand out. After you've had a chance to consider where you might go with Canva, and we'll get into a specific project here in a moment regarding the affirmations, I'll point out that templates are available all over Canva. So there are some pre-created resources by grade level or subject matter. Of course, we always want to encourage educators to use their high quality instructional materials and not deviate from that program per se, but there are some times that we're looking to pull in just an extra piece or have a starting point. And there's a lot of different like infographic type options created that could be a starting point. So this is showcasing a few posters and various things that we might start with. So this is over on the left of Canva. When you click templates, you can search for templates, or you can go down under education and search under the subject or the grade level. So look for the drop down bars, or just up at the top, you can just search what you are after. Okay, so when we get into Canva, this is a video showcasing the home screen. So know that it's getting used to Canva. It's a little different than some of our platforms. So first you can just create a design. So there are lots of different options, from presentations to posters. Over on the left, though, your toolbar on the left there showcases some options. So templates, like we just talked about, and projects is going to be kind of like your Google Drive. It's where all your things live under projects. There's a search button up at the top where you can begin as well. Otherwise, the big purple button, create a design, will bring it up. So kind of when you're first getting to Canva, just know you have several options of how to get started, depending on if you um, want to start with the template, or if you want to search what's out there, or if you want to just create from blank, depending on your preference. There's a couple buttons to choose from to start.
So JC, if we choose to start with a template, can we modify that template, or does it have to look exactly like they created that template?
Yes, thanks for asking that, because once we open a template and click customize, then it will become yours and you can edit and tweak it all you want. So if you see a beginning start of a project or presentation or a poster that you were interested in, once you open it, it becomes yours and you can edit. I think there's a video to show that here in a moment
Right.
too. Um,
I love that I can change the colors, change the items, pictures. I can change titles, but at least I have a starting point.
Yes, yes. All right, my screen just froze temporarily, but there we go. Okay, we're back into it. Okay, this is the toolbar. So the toolbars, once you're in a project, so we've opened a blank presentation in this case, know that up in your top left, the toolbars then under design, that is like your background. You could have a whole themed out presentation through design, and there's lots to look for there. Elements, though, are where all of the fun add-ons are. So whether you're adding like a background picture, or in this case, we typed in animated arrow, you can insert all sorts of different pictures and arrows and pizzazz to your design. Now, text is the next button, and there is just the big purple add text box, or you can search for a style of text. And within the text, once you have text on the page, then you're more familiar to task toolbars comes up at the top, where we are accustomed to these type of toolbar editors where you can change the font and size and color and whatnot up there. So there's lots and lots of font options under text. Going down, sorry, this is going a little quick, but you can add recordings to the video. So this, we're going to come back to this concept in a little bit, but know that under uploads, that is an option. And then there is a draw button where you can also use markup tools to write on an image. This is also showcasing that there's other apps that will connect to Canva, and therefore, when you look at your toolbar on the left, those buttons each do something different. And once you click one of them, then it will open up more. So if you're looking for text, click that and it will add more. If you're looking to add elements, click that and then add more. And then we'll come back to uploads. But uploads is if you're trying to bring in any pictures or bring in any video recordings or record right in Canva. So lots to be explored within each of these toolbars buttons, but and we'll practice that and get into that a little bit more in a moment.
This year, JC taught me about the apps. Like I had never used that, and I use Canva a lot, but I was able to upload a custom-made map from Google Maps. So that was a really cool thing, and I thought of all the educational uses of that. I was using it kind of for a community event, but what a cool feature.
Yeah, that's neat. Yes, that's one of the perks of Canva too, how it will connect to other outside of Canva resources. That's what the apps is. So there's unlimited options there, and that's always growing too. So you can always check back for options there. Okay, but if we shift into affirmations, this is any positive statement that is intended to promote our own motivation or our beliefs about ourselves. And this is coming from the science of affirmations on a mentalhealth.com. But any affirmations like I am capable, I can and I will, I can handle it, I am strong, I add value to the world. So these are all I statements that are reinforcing a belief that we would want ourselves or our students to hear. I know I've been in some school districts where every morning their whole school is reciting affirmations to begin with, or some teachers do this independently in their classroom where they have a set few statements and they are reading them together every day. And that is a mindset that is being cultivated to promote some positive beliefs. We would invite you to visit this article. It's mentalhealth.com/tool/science of affirmations. And it is going to pull up a article that talks about the power of affirmations. And Steph, are you still seeing my screen okay?
Yep.
Okay. So this article then, Science of Affirmations goes into detail about all the perks and benefits, but it will even address how long-term there is science behind the powerfulness of doing affirmations. So we won't spend a whole lot of time live right now going through all of the perks here, but know that we would invite you to pause and check out this article because there is a lot of great reminders about the power of affirmations.
And I'll say affirmations have made a lot of difference in my life. I use them all the time. And it's even picking out a statement to write on a piece of paper, put in your pocket. JC's going to show you how to make a poster with it, and or other resources. And that's going to, just be great ideas for you and for your kids. But there is no statement quite like I am. So you can say I am to something positive or I am to something negative, and, determine that effect on your life.
Love it. Yes, thank you. These would be some quick other examples. This would be something that could be printed, it could be framed, it could be, like you said, a small note in your pocket. So I'm smart, I'm kind, I can do hard things, I am loved. This was an example that I was doing with some elementary students recently, and they were coming up with just a few brief statements that they wanted to remind themselves of. If you would like to dive into this even further and want help figuring out what your affirmations would be, or to help students process what are some affirmations for themselves, it might be helpful to think through some questions like these. What are you proud of? What's something you like about yourself or your strengths? What makes you happy? Okay, there's several options. Why do you think you are brave, et cetera, et cetera. So this will jog our memory on those positive qualities that we possess and what we hope to be or want to be. And it can help students like process, like, why are they unique? What makes them special? What is their good qualities? And then helping them solidify those thoughts. So this is an option to help process that. But once you know what affirmations you'd like on a document such as these, then we can get into the creation of it. So that is what we're going to do now. We'll come back to that background remover. So I'm going to jump over to a different Canva doc here. This is if you are just getting started and want to create an affirmation sign that would be potentially printed off or posted or utilized on, maybe they're in Google Classroom or in Canvas, wherever they might want to be reminded of these positive things, you can foster that through here. So actually what I'm going to do first is go just right back to Canva, similar to how we were just looking at on that tutorial. When you want to start and create, in this case, you can pick like a presentation or poster. In this case, I'm going to just go up to the top left and click create a design. And this is one of the handy features of Canva where you can designate the exact size that you would like. So sometimes it comes up with pixels, but if you want to, for example, print off a affirmation um, something and put it in a frame, perhaps you indicate the size of the page that you are wanting. So we're going to start with an 8.5 by 11 page, just so it would look like a full page design. And then I'll show you how you can convert it to other sizes as well. So once you've typed in your custom size, then create a new design and it will just open a blank doc, blank Canva that we can then use to design. So as we progress through the creation of this, feel free to pause if you're working together as a group. Maybe you decide together that you're going to work a little bit and then pause and then continue. Everybody may be at different stages of Canva expertise or use. So feel free to just jump in or pause as needed as you go. But once you're in a blank screen here, then perhaps you want to start with text. So if we go over to text and we can write or we can add a text box, it'll just pop it right on there. And now to resize your fonts, look for these little blue arrows or purple circles, and then the arrows will hover over it, and that's where you can resize. This is also where you can twist the text. So if you want to get it curved or in a different pattern on your document, then these will hover over it once you've selected the text. So Steph, I'll throw out what would be an affirmation that maybe we want to start with. A phrase we'll throw in. There's lots that we might decide to include, but
Maybe I'm confident.
okay, I like it. I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So once you've typed it in, and from there, when you select it, again, your typical font choices come up here. So then you can scroll through. I have a few recent ones. These look like the penmanship writing, or you can scroll all through a whole bunch of different ones. If you're looking for just a bold font, for example, you can type in bold, and then that's going to bring up what they deem to be a bold font. And maybe you like this one. I am confident. Now, the fonts, Canva can be really simple, and people who are not super tech savvy might gravitate towards Canva because it can be quick and easy. And those that are super tech savvy also gravitate to it because you can kind of go down rabbit holes because there's so many different ways to customize and personalize Canva creations. So it can be as simple or as detailed and complicated or robust as you would like it. Once we have some words on there, the next thing you might want to do is add elements. So again, elements are several different things. And once you click on elements, there are shapes, there are graphics. You can also scroll for stickers, photos and videos, audio. There's several different elements that can be put on. But in this case, maybe I'm just looking for a shape. And once I these shapes, there's a see all button, and then a whole bunch of shapes come up. So perhaps I'm wanting a I don't know, we'll just put a square on here, and then it can be customized further by clicking on it, and your color toolbar is up here. So we want to make this blue, for example, and spread it out, and that could go as part of the background on an affirmation page. Now, you could continue and continue to add and grow the different resources on the back of your page. I'm going to show you a couple other examples just to
Stacey,
give you.
oh,
Yep.
sorry. How do you change the background color in case you wanted to have a background color?
Yes. So there is a couple ways. So once I've clicked on this, you can see it's selected because the purple's around it. Then background color up here, that would change like the whole background if you want it like that. And the other way is your design up in the top left. So I'll just do flowers. And if I like this flowery design, if I click that, it's going to give me the option to either replace the current page's background as that flower design or add it as a new page. For this case, I'll just click add as a new page, and then it puts it right underneath. So now I have this pretty flowery background that change the background that I can then go in and customize the words according to what you're interested in. Good question. Going back on templates to get you started with affirmations, we can start with that blank page like we were. Oops, let me close off of this. This is an example though of a affirmation page template that is already out there. So when I'm on Canva, if I search affirmations or affirmation, there are some examples that are already created. So if you're scrolling through and you see one that seems fitting to your style or what you're after, for example, I'm just going to click this one. We can then customize this template, which we'll do. Know that sometimes when you open templates, it's going to ask if you want to print with Canva. Canva has its own print shop where you can order directly and purchase from Canva. I've never done that, but that is what some of the print from Canva options mean. Okay, so when I click customize, now this jumped this affirmation page into my projects. So this is now my document that we can customize. So if you don't like the word kind and you'd rather have confident at the start of your affirmations, you can simply edit and tweak to create your own style. Going back to this one, or actually let's stay on this one. And after you have something of a certain size, let's say you discover you want it a different size or you want to make it fit a different purpose, this resize button up in your top left, when you click on that, it gives you this custom size button, and that brings you back to a similar thing that we saw when we started. But let's say you're wanting to print these as little 3x5 cards that would go in a frame, for example. You can click copy and resize, and it will make a whole new Canva project document. Now we can open it. And now I have two files technically in my Canva projects, but it is now resized. It's a little bit narrower, like a 3x5 would be. So I have both. So when I go back to my home screen here in Canva, my recent designs, it's not updating very quickly, but in your recent designs under projects, there it is. So we have the original one, and now we have the 3x5 one, which just makes it nice if you're trying to get it to be an exact specific option.
And I love that feature for especially like if I want to make a poster into a social media post, it just does it so that it looks really nice there and fits right within whichever social media
Yeah.
app I'm using.
Yeah, that is very nice because sometimes like banners versus
Mm-hmm. Or if I'm
have,
doing an event, yeah.
yes, there is sometimes I think if you help students with or teachers get their Google Classroom stuff organized, there's Google Classroom banner headings too. So yeah,
Yeah.
depending on what you need it for, that resize button is an option. To add to, other than adding text and elements, I want to showcase one of the fun features of Canva, which is this background remover option. So you can essentially upload a picture, and within one click, it'll cut around the image to remove the background so that you could then put that background or that picture in with your affirmations, or maybe teachers put it on their agenda of the day, or when they say I am confident, maybe they've got a picture of the student in a confident manner, for example.
Look at those
So
cute Palmer kids on the first day of school too.
yeah, thanks. Yes, that was there.
And the cute Palmer mom.
No, thanks. No, not great pictures. It was just to show how it can look. But this is okay, taking a Canva picture. This is not a great picture. This is just from a different presentation. When you put the picture on and you click edit photo, look for BG remover, background remover, and that is the button that will cut around the screen. Now, and then you can move it around, put it all over your poster wherever you might want to add it. So know that on this example or in any example, if it leaves a portion like here, it left the flag, you can circle the flag with the magic eraser and just erase it, or you could expand it to be bigger or smaller. This kind of gets into the weeds of the digital citizenship and knowing like pictures that have been edited and just having that conversation that not everything we see is like originally how it was, but the beneficial part of using this background remover is that it can be quick to enhance positive affirmation, for example. So we were back on this one and we wanted to bring in a picture. In my uploads here, I have this picture. This is my daughter riding a bike. And if I put it on here, I have not tried this with background remover on this image, but now that it's selected, if I go over here to edit, I'm gonna click background remover. In theory, it'll just cut right around her. Yeah, perfect. So now if helping a student create a affirmation that shows they are confident, maybe this is her being confident on a bike, and that could be positioned and included right on the flyer. So something to add a little extra to your documents.
It'll definitely make it more personal. I love it.
With the affirmations, if you were to get into sorry about that, a bigger project with this, you can also create quick videos where it's going to flip through your, gosh, where'd my mouse go? Okay. Trying to get to the next slide, not this one. There we go. Okay. One of the perks of using Canva is that it can do so much just right on the platform where you don't have to go out to another site or app or even within your device. It can just do it all right within the platform of Canva, like recording. So there is a record yourself button under uploads. And once you have these quick recordings, they can then be popped into frames and make it look like a reel, which students might enjoy creating maybe a quick PowerPoint, like Canva presentation of their affirmations, for example, or just making a flip screen of those. So I'll show you how to record with Canva, and that is over here under uploads, and then look for the record yourself button. And we're going to try it while I'm on Zoom and recording. We'll see how this works. So I will click record. It counts down. Hello, everyone. This is a quick 3-second recording to showcase the creation of an affirmation. So maybe students could come on and say, I am confident. And then when you click done, it saves your recording. I'm going to click save and exit, and it puts it right in your uploads under videos. So give it a second here.
Or even if the background said, I'm confident, and they could say, I'm confident
Hello,
when,
everyone.
and then,
And sorry,
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 but
go
they could
ahead.
say when they're confident even.
Oh, yeah, that's a great idea. Taking it the next level.
Hmm?
Um,
Sorry, I stopped your video, but your video's great.
no, it's good to think through how like taking the affirmations and applying it to like what they're doing is great. But once you've recorded that, it's an item within your uploads on your Canva um, uploads. So image, you just have to know you switch between images and videos. But now that we have this short video, it is inserted right on the slide where I did it, but you can also drag and drop it, like for example, into this phone frame. Hello, everyone. This is a quick 3-second recording to showcase the creation of an affirmation. So it goes on, but now it's put into a frame that makes it look like it was recorded on a phone when you just saw we were all here. So sometimes students like to create options like that. And I said a 3-second video. Sometimes when I demo it, I really do stop it at 3 seconds, and that one turned into 18 seconds. But it's just an example that um, adding that like next layer besides text and pictures, you can also add videos with Canva to enhance their projects or in this case, affirmations.
Yeah, and the frames can be used with just photos too, but you just search frames under the elements, and there's lots of different shapes and things like that.
Yes, it should, yes. Frame. And one is going to be like frames that will go around. If you want a frame that is able to put a picture or video in, within elements, look for the ones that are labeled frames right there, because then when you add, like, it gives that little blue and green background, and then you know that's a cue that a photo can pop right into it. So if we go back to uploads and images, going back to that bike picture, if I drag and drop it, it just pops it right into that particular frame, which then can be adjusted. So those are ways to enhance your affirmation project or poster. This is another look at if we were creating affirmations, we're adding graphics and pictures. These are all elements. So maybe we search sun and put that in with that affirmation. And these can all be customized, of course, like we've talked about, but depending on your style or preference, there's lots of ways to make it look. This is maybe a more minimalist looking option, or maybe older looking, older students potentially would gravitate towards something like this, but there's several examples out there that can then be created and customized. Wanted to leave you with a quote here, sort of along the lines of affirmations. Dr. Seuss, you have brains in your head, you have feet in your shoes, you can steer yourself any direction you choose. Just to say that Canva does have several options, and I would encourage you to explore that for tech skill enhancement purposes, but then knowing that we can really choose to make those mindsets be fostered in a healthy way with positive affirmations. So I'd encourage you to dig into those affirmations and create something for yourself and with those you work with. But I would love to visit more soon. So feel free to email me if you would like to go further, or if you have questions about Canva or integrating any of these pieces. If you'd like the slides for today, I believe Steph will talk about this, but it'll be linked online, or you can just go to bit.ly/ParasApr25, and that will pull up the slideshow from today.
Yeah, and the thing about technology is we are all at a different point. And so never hesitate, whether you're a very new beginner to Canva and want to learn more, or if you're like me and like you've used Canva a little bit, but you want to learn those extra, tools that are there. JC's a great person to talk to, and she's out at a lot of buildings often, or can Zoom with you, or talk with you over the phone about different technology things that you need. So whether it's Canva or something else, JC's an excellent resource here at the ESU. And thanks, JC. We're so thankful for you to take time to share with us today.
Yeah, thank you. It's fun to collaborate on this.
Okay, so we hope that you all save the date. August 5th will be our full day para training. It's not going to be here at the ESU building this year. It's going to be across the street at the Neely American Legion. I'll be sending out some registration information soon. We always have our resources, so it's recordings of the para trainings as well as the presentations available at bit.ly/paras of ESU 8. I'll have registration information there soon. But we are going to do a Mission Possible theme this year. So let's get our spy theme on and we'll have fun. We hope you can join in. And JC, I think we'll be there with some more tech tips because we can always learn a little bit more about technology.
I'm looking forward to it. Sounds like a fun theme. That'll be exciting.
Well, thanks everybody. Enjoy the end of the school year. Hang in there. It gets a little hairy, but you make it better for all of the teachers and students around you. So thank you for the important job you do. Um, Hang in there and the end is near. Thanks, JC.